What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Michelle Renee from IamMichelleRenee.com. And it is Cinco de Mayo. I don't have anything in my cup, but we are celebrating and honoring teachers, mothers, influential women, all things dope here on the Tribe of Dope Black Women. We're so excited to have you all. So come on in the room. I'm going to make sure we get this live shared first, and then I'm going to bring my panelists up and just get that thing going. What's up, everybody? So honored to have y'all here. Got to get somebody in first. Then we're going to be honored to have y'all here. All right, so tonight, y'all, as we talk about just what it means to be a woman and the things that our mothers and influential women have instilled in us, we're sharing those stories, hopefully to inspire someone, and to just be a beacon of light for someone who may need to know that you got this going on. So welcome to the tribe tonight. My girl, McKee. How are you, McKee?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, and I'm so glad to have you tonight. So welcome to the tribe. Honored to share this space with you from week to week. So thank you for being here.
No
and
problem.
I got my girl Tamika. What's up, Mika? Who is here despite it being her baby's birthday, my little Cinco de Mayo baby. Happy birthday, Juice. We love you. So thank you for letting us borrow your mommy tonight. And y'all, listen, my girl is still up. Don't get her twisted. Do not play. Deidre Willis is in the building, y'all. Hey, Dee, how are you?
Good night. Good evening. I'm doing well. Just popping in to say hi.
Thanks, Dee. So happy to have you. Listen, we're not gonna be long, but we're gonna be strong because we just want to it's Teacher Appreciation Week, it's Nurses Appreciation Week, it's leading up to Mother's Day. We all come from a Black woman. All of us are born of Black women. So in order for us to be here, we had to traverse through a Black woman. And I honor those women tonight and every other night. But I also honor, as I was telling Tamika and McKee prior to us getting on, like today is my mother-in-law's birthday. This is our first full year, second birthday without her. And it's a process, right? Dee, you and I were talking about this earlier. It's a process when you lose your mom. But you still carry on things from them and because of them. Do you want to share what we were talking about where you discovered the Maddie Mae in you?
So, just want everybody to know if I call and I say hi, I check on you, you are very special to me, despite of what MichelleRenee.com might say. But no, so I'm from a large family. I'm the youngest, and my mom just had a gift of making everybody feel like a only child. And so that is something I think that I received from her. So when it comes to my friends, when it comes to my clients, they've told me they have that same feeling. So I think it's truly a blessing to have that gift from my mom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maddie Mae taught you well. She instilled in something so beautiful to be just a lover, a person that shares this love with so many people, because you literally make every single person in the world feel like they're the only person in the world, D. And you're the youngest of like what, 15, 17, 18?
See how she did me, Tamika.
Well, D, you know we running neck and neck because I'm the youngest of 8, so
I am the youngest, and it is a lot of, but 18 in the teens now. We're not in the teens yet.
Listen, it's a blessing to have such a strong lineage and to have stories to where you can say, you know, my mama taught me this, or this is one of those things that my mom instilled in me and it was special to me. McKee, do you have a thing or it may be even a tick that you say, you know what? That's Virginia. That's definitely her. That's definitely her.
I guess I get from my mom. She like if I have not seen a person in a while, Like, I don't know. Like, and they just crossed my mind. At some point through that day, I'm going to run into them, whether it's on the street, in the store, on Facebook. It's like I could just wake up, oh, I haven't seen so-and-so in a while. And I could be in the store and I walk right into them. And my mama would be the same way.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of cool at the same time because it's like, once they run across your mind that at some point it's like you're manifesting them or whatever. You got them powers that we was talking about. Everybody was getting with the super moon a few months back. You got the special powers, but that's really neat. Like, did you watch her do that, or is that something that she shared with you that happens to her?
It's just something that she shares with me and her. Kind of like we are like on the same wavelength. She knows when I'm not feeling my best, or as she likes to call it, you going through the storm and the rain, ain't you? So she just has that mother intuition. A lot of times she says something that I'm thinking, or I'm thinking something and she says it. So we have that kind of like that mother-daughter connection that, I guess a lot of mothers and daughters have, but it's just like with her, I feel like the older that I get, I start to kind of act more and more like Virginia. Like, yeah, that's something Virginia would say. Yeah, that's something Virginia would say.
That is so funny because it's like what I hear. Layla just put me on last week to twin telepathy. Okay, yes, Layla, the 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally telepathy, to where you're able to have this intuition and think about each other and kind of manifest those thoughts. I think that's really, really dope. I definitely don't have that with my mom. So that is a unique, special thing between you and your mom. Everybody don't have it. So that's a blessing. I absolutely love that. Tamika, what would be the one thing from Miss Tina that you're like, yep, I got that from my mama?
My bluntness.
Your what? Your bluntness.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Tell her what Beyonce said.
What Beyonce say?
What did Beyonce say?
Oh.
She got that junk from Tina.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Very true. I am my mother's daughter.
But I also think that's one of the things that makes you so who you are, is that bluntness, is that straight up. Because if I come to Tamika, I know I'm getting it straight up, no chaser. I wouldn't call it rude. It's just like, you're going to get what you get. And if you didn't want that, you should have known not to go that direction. Like, I'm not going to you if I'm looking to be all coddled and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to you because I need to be snapped back into reality.
Now, I'm like, so do you want the real response, or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear?
That's how it has to be. It's got to be like that. I think if I had to think about one of the things that I've gotten from my mom, it would be my nosiness. And yes. So most people don't know. Well, I'm going to say it like this. My husband calls it nosy, but I'm really not nosy. I like making connections with people. So when I meet a person, I want to know where you're from. Where did you grow up? Who are your people? And I used to joke with my mom all the time. I'm like, you're the only person I know that could go to Japan and know 11,000 people and be like, and you know what? I went to school with your mama down at Utica Junior College. I'd be like, you did not go to school with that lady mama. That lady from China. But she would be telling the truth. She has a way of like really connecting with people. And I may not be able to make a familiar, like a family type connection with everybody. But when I meet people, it's like, oh, you were from this place, or you are this, you used to work in this place, or you went to Mississippi State at one point, or you married somebody or something like that. And it's like, oh, and what it does is it builds this rapport with a person to where now you feel connected. So they trust you a little bit more, if that makes sense. So I learned that from my mom, like from watching her for years, go into places where we assume she didn't know a soul, and she walk out with 5 relatives and 12 people that she either went to school with or knows their people. That's how she said, I know your people.
Well, I could say the same, because I guarantee you, if my mom could join, all 4 of us would be related tonight.
Yep.
And you know what I wanted to add, McKee, is that I need you and your mom to go ahead and get on the same page and run those few millions through your mind too, so they can show up. You was like, when I think about someone, they just show up. Go ahead and run those millions in your mind.
I wish it worked that way.
So they can show up as well.
Yes. Keela is in the comments. She said the two Tamika Bennett, that's a setup. She said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said that's a setup. So we got Keela, run it back for us. Help us revisit this piece so we know what you're talking about. But I think one of the things, I know, Tamika, you and I both have daughters. I know McKee and Deidre, you have the hopes of one day becoming moms, right? What is something that if you could pick a thing that you would want to pass on to your offspring, what would it be? Mika, I'm going to start with you.
Each kid is different and each one needs different things. For instance, you never want to think about it. Like if something should happen and you're not there, like what do you want for your kids? Like for Jada, it would definitely be to just, I call her, she Martha, baby. And she gonna work and she gets bogged down in the details. And I'm like, just be married sometimes. Now,
Yeah,
Bree,
I get it.
Bree married. She need a little Martha. And dude, no comment.
I love that. I love that because one, it's a perfect biblical comparison to the girls. If you get to know the girls, that is so true. Jada's definitely this worker bee that can get distracted from working so hard. And then you got Bree that's like, hey, I'm just here to serve, but I'm a chill with you for a second. Let's talk about this. Not so much work. But they're both amazing. So I love that you like take from each other and make each other strong. And I think that bond of having a relationship with sisters is really important. This is the follow-up from Akila. I'm gonna put it up if I can. Come on now. Keela says, Tamika, the setup is you asking which response you want. Child, it doesn't matter. She'll lay you out either way.
No, that is not true. I have worked on my delivery. I'm not as bad as I used to be.
Absolutely. That's a lot of growth, Tamika. I've watched you over the last almost 20 years. And it's like, no, you don't shoot from the hip like that anymore. It used to be like, pow. Now it's more like, a bow and arrow. Like you might want to move to the side. I don't have to hit you. But I think it's amazing because people need that. Everybody don't need to be coddled and just given this yes man or yes woman type speech. Everybody needs something to straighten up with. And you got to have a friend that's going to keep it real with you. If you don't have that, then you'll never be able to face adversity. You got to have that. So I'm grateful for it. McKee, if there was something that you could share as an influential woman, what would it be?
My creativity, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love your sense of humor, McKee.
Yes.
Did she freeze?
Yeah, she froze. Hold on. Or she's playing a really cruel joke.
Like when you left the show?
Like when I got kicked out of the show last week? Or rather, when I kicked myself out of the show.
Sorry.
I thought we was chopping and screwing. I didn't know what was going on.
She ain't take it back to H-Town with the chopped and screwed.
I thought so.
You're so silly. So, McKee, what were you saying as far as like, what would you leave back? Not leave back because you're not leaving, but what would you share as an influential woman? I know you said your creativity and what else?
Compassion and empathy. I feel like I'm the type of person that I just feel sorry for everybody. You know, any type of problem somebody is going through, I want to fix it. I want to make you feel better. I want to make you happy. I don't want to see you sad. Like, you know, if I see a homeless person on the street, I want to just stop and give them some money. And Kyle's like, no, you're going to get your head knocked off that way. So I do. He's like, you're gonna get your head knocked off. You can't keep doing that. You're gonna have to figure out another way to give back. So just that, you know, I've always saw myself having a daughter, so I want to be able to have that relationship with them, that they'll feel comfortable coming to me and talking to me and sharing things with me, but also have that firmness to let them know, hey, I'm still your parent, you know, instill in them respect and, you know, respect for themselves, respect for others, you know, the people in authority and things like that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. What about you, Deidre, as an influential woman? What is something that you would pass on?
So y'all know I've been a mother since I've been like 6 years old, right?
Yep.
Right.
So I have all these nieces and nephews. So as a mother, I don't know. I just think the secrets of life, you know, always dropping these nuggets, teaching, you know, your children how to maneuver at whatever comes the way. Just showing them the beauty of life as well. You know, all those things I think are important to me.
Right. Right. I think that's amazing. I think from the perspective of an auntie, kids are more, not necessarily kids, but your nieces and nephews are a little more receptive than your children. And I'll say that because I know that my nephew will listen to me, and my niece will hear me out with different things, whereas my children sometimes are a little more stubborn to listen to things. And I was the same way with my aunts, right? So I think that's really amazing. The auntie relationship is just as strong, if not in some ways stronger than the mom relationship, because that's somebody that you can call on that's gonna be on team you and doesn't have this fight in it to lose, to be like, you know what, at the end of the day, I got to make the decisions like, hey, I'm team you. Let's talk about it. Let's work through it. And I absolutely love that, because it gives you this major advantage. If I think about the girls, because Tamika just with her breakdown, I don't have a Martha and Mary type situation over here, but I do have what I call a Ruth. And each one of them has a bit of a Ruth in the sense that they're super loyal, right? And I look at them, I'm like, okay, they're hard workers and they're loyal, but I want them to be strong, but not to the point of not having their vulnerability. I want them to embrace who they are, all of the greatness about them, but also all of the things that other people, that the outside world may view as their flaws. I want them to love them just as much as they love the things that people praise them for. Because a lot of the times we'll take something like bluntness and we'll turn it into a flaw when it's actually a beautiful attribute. Okay. So I want them to take those types of things or empathy or compassion to where it's not this huge flaw. I want it to be something that they feel proud of, saying, you know what? Instead of saying I'm blunt, saying I'm firm, or I'm powerful, or I believe in sharing my thoughts and being expressive, because those things, when we word it that way, is way more positive than somebody saying, oh, you're blunt. Because I got, you know, that Zara, who will be a teenager on Friday, can say some stuff, and I'd be looking at like, who art thou? Like, where did you come from? Because she'll shake you. But she's got this really sweet heart, and all of that'll get bogged down in something different if the world defines her attributes. That's what I'm trying to say. So I want them to own their attributes, to own who they are, and to be confident despite what labels or what other things the world might attempt to put on them. All right, next question. Could you raise you if you had to?
Yeah.
If you were given the version of you growing up that your parents had to raise, could you raise you?
Tamika raising one right now.
Absolutely. I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I mean, it is tough because as parents, we tend to try to the things that we know, not necessarily negative attributes, but things that we know that make life difficult for people or for yourself. You try to rear those things out of your kids, where it's like, you know, don't do that. you may have their response by doing this, and them being them, and they're like, I want to do it this way. And then you kind of, it's such a teachable moment because it kind of shows you that it's not something that they got from just, happenstance. Like that is a part of who they were created to be. And so you're trying to manipulate who they are. And so it comes down to you realizing and embracing, some of the flaws or things that you thought as flaws in yourself to the point where you're like, hey, it's really not that bad. Because I've had people to tell me, like Jada is very direct. I'll be like, Jada, tone it down. I know from experience, like you don't. And I had somebody from my church that was like, don't ever, try to condense her. Like I like the fact that she's confident and she says what she thinks. And I was like, well, okay, I guess so. Or on Saturday when Deuce was playing, and he got mad because when they're playing t-ball, they don't really play positions. When the ball comes out, like the kids just pile up and go get the ball. He's very aggressive, so he thinks that all of the balls are his. So when they come out and they're playing defense, he's basically tackling other children to get the ball. And then when he gets it, he taunts them. He's like, yeah, I got the ball. And I'm like, no. And if he doesn't get the ball, he gets upset. He throws his cap off and takes off his glove like, he's mad. So I had to get him to come over. I was like, hey, what's going on? And he was like, I'm upset. And I said, why are you upset? He said, my friends are getting on my balls. And I said, first off, I said, they're your teammates. So you guys are working together. I was like, and not your balls. They're the ball. You're supposed to be playing together. And he said, oh, okay. I said, it's not for you to get everyone. I said, but if you do not get it, don't throw your hat off and don't take off your glove. Okay. And he was like, okay. And so one of the dads that was out there was like, because Rico was working the other field with Bree. One of the dads said, you can't teach a kid that. And I said, huh? He said, you can't teach a kid competitive spirit. He said he's going to go places. He said, because you don't have to teach him. He has a desire to win. He was like, and he's going to do what's necessary to win. He was like, so don't think it's the same thing like with that. Don't think of it as, like, oh, he's being super aggressive. He's going to hurt somebody. He's like, yeah, you don't want him to hurt anybody, but that's a good trait for him to have to want to be a winner. I was like, okay, sir.
That's actually pretty amazing, Mika, because I wouldn't have seen the story going in that direction. It was just like, oh, she just had a phenomenal teachable moment on the field with the baby. But it was like, yeah, he is a competitor. He is about the business when it comes to him playing his t-ball and things like that. And I think that's amazing because you're right. It's not something that you could really, especially at that age. He just turned 4. So that's not something that you really teach at that age. Layla's out there with the t-ballers and yeah, this is her second week of t-baller. She's by far the most athletic out there. Like it's a lot of flower picking going on. Pretty much.
It's a mess show, okay? Like
it is.
It's a mess. Like them kids be dancing and turning around. They run the bases the wrong way. They just be doing whatever they want to do.
It is the Harlem Globetrotter of basketball.
Yeah, the parents be like, no, go here. The kids be like, I'm going this way, I'm going to do this, and whatever.
It gives very much, I don't care what you're saying, I'm going to do it my way.
I think it's still a good teachable moment, but it's just directing them, directing them, because I have a niece who was just very, very aggressive. And it was just something about that was very strong and positive that I saw. But, you try to kind of get them to the point. And as she's getting older, I feel like she's losing a little bit of that. And I really don't want her to. I still want her to.
You don't want them to lose that fight.
No, that fire that they have, because you can channel that in another, direction. And then you try to start to shape them and mold them. And you have to let them be who they are, but still give them direction on the path. And, in terms of raising, I feel like, you kind of take a check when you're raising kids. You're semi-raising yourself at the same time, because you think about like, Ain't nobody but you. Or, what would I do different? Or I'm trying to anticipate what's next because I know myself. So
listen, I was hoping somebody was gonna say that, D, because you really are raising yourself in the sense of the word that you're raising them, but you've got to grow up too. Like, I don't care how grown you are when you have a child, it's a whole different level of life that happens.
Yes.
When you become a parent. Tamika and I was texting this morning. She was like, "What you doing for Mother's Day?" I was like, "Man, friend, I don't even know." She's like, "I wish we could just pack up and go hang out with just us. Nobody else." I was like, "Me too." Me too. That's the reality.
Have you probably caught yourself laughing at something because like, you know what, this is me, and I can't show my kids my reaction because they're gonna be like, I can't. You lose credibility with kids too really quickly, right? The moment you say yes, the moment you give in, the moment you crack. But yeah, it's just it's a learning.
I laugh. I'm sorry.
Like way too funny, and I just.
I try not to hold it in because I want them to have the balance of, yeah, you could be serious, but life is not all serious stuff. You got to have some fun too. And so, if it's not inappropriate, okay, if it's inappropriate, then we have to correct it. But if it's something funny, because Layla she will read you, and you know that, D. She says whatever. She's like, "Oh, mommy, you got the biggest belly I've ever seen. It's like so huge." Oh my God.
With a smile.
Says it with the biggest smile. It is, for her, it is a compliment. She's like, "Mama, did you know you had the biggest belly in the world? Did you know? Like, I won a prize." I was like, "No, I didn't know, but thank you for sharing. Can you not say it again? Because it's kind of hurting my feelings." She's like, "Why would your feelings be hurt? I love your big belly. It's the biggest." I'm like, "Oh my God. This girl is nuts," because she's being so serious. She's not taunting. She's not being mean or anything like that. That's her compliment.
That's her compliment.
That's her compliment. She's like, but those are the things that you enjoy and you're so excited to be able to say, "You know what? This is cool." It was the same way with my nephew and nieces growing up. Like, they would do funny stuff and their parents were like, "Don't laugh at that." I'm like, "Whatever, I'm laughing because that's funny." Now that's funny. So I think that's amazing. I wonder, I won't say I couldn't raise me when I was little. Because my mom, I don't know what she did. I don't know how I made it here, but she did a good job apparently, because I'm still here. But I don't know I think nobody has it all in one. I'll say it like that. Each of the girls have a different piece of me, of the worst part of me and the best part of me. But no, not one child got all of it. Thank goodness. Because if they did, then like Tamika would be representing me and be like, "Yeah, we're just going to not give it back to her because she don't know what she's doing because it's too much." But they each got little nuggets, which I think God specially designed to make sure that I could be okay as a parent. Because I was telling my sister tonight, we were riding back. So I got her hair done and she's looking all super cute. And I just looked at her and I was like, "Wow, like I managed to keep you alive for almost 13 years. This is crazy to me." Like, woo, cool, pat me on the back. Like, you still here. And you act like you got some sense.
Exactly.
I never would imagine. I never would have imagined.
Baby, they send you home with a kid from the hospital. You be like, "So you just gonna let me leave this kid?"
Like, I ain't passed no test or nothing. You just giving it to me?
Who are these kids and why are they calling me mama?
Right. Like, hold on, wait. So I don't get a nurse or somebody to go home with me to make sure this thing all right? Because I'm not really that responsible. Hence why I am here. Can we talk about that for a second? But they don't give you any kind of guidance. They just send you home and like, "All right, oh, good luck with this." So every year, like I tell people when I celebrate the kids' birthdays, it's more that, okay, whew, we survived. Y'all made it one more. Because honestly, sometimes I don't know. I don't know if I talked about it. No. Did I talk about last week with Layla busting her head on the curb? And me being like shook to the core? In concussion protocol for 48 hours because I'm going, what the world? Like, what happened? Like, and I think what's worse is I was standing there. I was within arm's reach and not within arm's reach at the same time. So she leaped for me to jump in my arms. And the worst feeling you can have as a parent is not being able to protect your kid. I couldn't catch her. I wasn't close enough. She slipped and fell, hit the back of her head on the curb.
Oh, wow.
At that point, you're kind of helpless because you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. So I look at that and I'm like, okay, where do we go from here? Her teacher acted very fast because when something happens like that, you're kind of in a state of shock.
Right.
You don't know how to maneuver. You don't know how to really you don't know what to do. And her teacher was like, okay, come on, Miss Martin. We got to go to the nurse. We got to do something about this. Come on. And I'm just holding her tight because that's all I know to do at this point because I don't know what to do. It's one of those things. And every single child has had a life-threatening situation like that. Falling off of jungle gyms. Kai sprained her cervical bone in her neck. Zara running and falling into the the vacuum cleaner and busting this thing on her lip. She still has a scar on her lip from it, and me having to take her to the emergency room. I'm like, or giving her peanuts, which I didn't give her the peanuts, but her having her first peanut and nearly dying from it because she's allergic. Like, again, they didn't give a manual. They didn't get no kind of instructions. Like, you didn't tell me this kid might have a deathly allergy. Where'd that come from? Did nobody allergies?
So let me ask y'all this. Is there one thing, and not like some simple, maybe not even something major, but something maybe impactful. But is there something that your mom told you to do that you didn't do that you wish you would have done? I think somebody think about which time, but just one time.
Right. I'm gonna say, my mom told me to enjoy my youth and not try to grow up too fast. And I did the opposite. Like, I was on a fast track for everything. Graduate high school early. Hurry up and finish college in 4 years. Do it faster if you can. Like, everything was hurry. And then it was like, you get to this place where you've rushed everything. And the real question is, for what? Like, what was the purpose? I achieved nothing special other than being able to say I did those things fast. And that's it. So if I had to go back again and kind of just revisit some of the different things, because I realized that if I paced myself a little bit more, I wouldn't have lost a lot. I might have gained a lot more though. A lot more experience, a lot more just being able to enjoy life a little bit more as a young person, instead of feeling like I had to be on this fast track to move through the system and move through to adulthood so quickly. That's why I really tell the girls a lot to just enjoy being a kid. Enjoy letting me take care of things for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Because when you become an adult, I'm not going to cut you off as a human, but there will be certain things that you're expected to take care of that as a mom, in order for me to let you be responsible, you got to take care of it. So just let me take care of the big things right now. I'm going to do the heavy lifting, and you just enjoy being a kid. Because once you leave it, you don't ever get to go back to it. Not in the same way, at least. So that would be mine, is just to slow down. Slow down. What about you, McKee?
Not waste my time on sorry ass little boys. You know, I was over here crying about. Oh, my heart is broken. My world is turned upside down. I can't live without this little boy. And my mom over there looking at me like, girl, get it together.
Right.
This is not gonna be the last. This is not gonna be the last boyfriend you ever have. You too pretty and too intelligent to be crying over these little sorry ass boys.
And Miss Virginia said it's just like that, didn't
knight
it?
in shining armor soon enough. So I wish I would have listened.
What about you, Mika?
I'm trying to think of something. Only I really could say is one thing that always annoyed me about my mama is that whenever she encountered, and I think I had that just like when McKee was talking about that same type of intuition. When she encounters people, like when she would meet friends and stuff, she'd be like, "Mm-mm, don't deal with them." And I would feel like, "What?" And she would be right. And it used to annoy me so bad because I'm like, why are you like this? Like nobody will ever be my friend because you think all of them have problems.
But she was right though, right?
In most cases, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And don't you have that same quality?
Yeah, I do.
Like you have a good discernment piece. What about you, D?
I don't know. What we are thinking about something that's kind of like earth shattering or major. I don't know. I was just thinking that, like, what did I not do that I wish I would have done? Not like the small stuff, because it's a lot of that, but like the bigger stuff. I don't know. I have to ask one of my siblings.
That'd be a good
They
question to
always
ask.
give those advice on who you talking to or dating or something like that, and you be like, I'm not listening to you about that.
My mom did not do that. She did not do the whole dating overbearing type thing, which when I look back on it, I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why weren't you a little more like, mm-mm. And her answer is like, yeah, she knew her child for one, but also she was, well, yeah, that's the same answer. I was about to say, never mind. It's gonna be like, you weren't gonna listen anyway. Why am I wasting my breath? Yep,
yeah, that was one thing that she definitely instilled in us, and we took it. Like it wasn't like, this person kind of like, you made your own judgment, but you made your own judgment before you even got to that point. So we already knew like what's the standard. But yeah, it was kind of like your decision to make. Once you've made a decision, you got to figure that piece out.
So she let you all have autonomy over the decisions that you were making.
And really prepped us before we got to the point to make the decision. So I expect for you to make a really good decision because I've coached you through this, or I've given you what you need to make solid decisions around it.
That was definitely my mom. Like she was like, and her biggest thing was she's like, she never stayed up late at night worrying about where we were, because out of respect, I never had a curfew, but something in my heart wouldn't allow me to come in her house late. And
now,
so
what was late, Michelle?
We lived in the country. So if you're coming in past 10 or 11 o'clock, that's late. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're anywhere outside of where we live like it's a far, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're coming from Jackson, that's a 30+ minute drive. If you just leaving Jackson at 10:30, you get into the house after 11, and you shouldn't be speeding. So what are you doing at that time of night for her? But she was not going to wait up for you. But she knew the second you hit the door, if you came in late. Like my latest time coming in as a high schooler probably was prom or something like that. And even then wasn't extremely late. But I never felt compelled to come in late. Like even my brothers and sisters, it was just something that we didn't do because it's like, she's not going to worry about you, but I don't want her to even have to worry about me. So let me get in this house and be responsible in that way. It was a lot of things that was like that, to where they had coached us in such a way, my parents, to where it was like, this is the expectation. This is the standard. We trust you to make the right choice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it was like, if you don't make the right choice, nobody's going to beat you over the head with it, but then you have to deal with those consequences. Nobody's going to come and save you from your consequences. So it was very real in the sense that my mom would talk a lot about, don't do nothing that's going to get you in jail, because I ain't coming to get you. I'm not. And she was like, I want you to think about the math. And she would say stuff like, you know how far it is from here to the jail? So if you're doing something that you ain't got no business, you know how long it's going to take for me to get to you? So you're going to have to stay a little while. I'm like, it's 40 miles this way. Okay, I don't even got the time to be thinking about that. Let me stay out of trouble. And also, when you come from a long line of siblings, Tamika, you're the oldest. So it's a little different for you. But when you come from a long line and you're the youngest, you've seen kind of what flies and what don't fly. And so you're like, okay, I could do this, can't do that. she gonna be really upset if this happens. So, and you kind of find this balance because you're like, I don't want to be, I want to stay the object of your, the light of your eye, the apple of your eye, and the object of your affection. I don't want you to turn on me like I saw you turn on my brother or my sister because they made a bad choice at one point. So I think the oldest kind of gets more of that because it's like, you're going to get everything because you're that first example, right? It's a little harder for you because you kind of set the standard of what everybody else gets to do or doesn't get to do. And Zara is like that older kid right now. So she has a little more freedom because she's about to enter being a teenager, things like that. So she gets to stay up a little bit later than the little girls. And they have fits about it. I was like, okay, but Zara also washes her own clothes. She also helps with other stuff and does things like that. I'm like, when y'all start doing a little bit more, maybe we have a little flexibility with you. But I think it's one of those things where we see the difference in how it progresses, especially when you have those examples before. But I don't know if there's this life-shattering or life-altering piece. I want to talk about influential women for a second, because moms definitely play a role in who we are. Aunties definitely play a role in who we are. But what were some other women? Like, was it teachers? Was it church people? Who were the other women in your lives that kind of gave a good example or good guidance for the woman that you would become? I'm gonna start with you, McKee. You got any influential women or women that you're like, you know what? I thank God for her because she was a good example.
I have cousins that I've kind of looked up to that, you know, went off to college, went off to college, have gotten an amazing job, you know, on their own law firms and, you know, are doctors and things like that. I can't think of one just in particular that stands out the most, you know.
But you definitely had people that you were like, you know what? I want to do something like that. I think I want to go to college, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. What about you, Mika?
I would say my grandma, my aunt, also some of my teachers from church. My first Sunday school teacher, like, even when I run into her now in Jackson, I'm like, hey, Miss Brown, because I just respected her so much. Like, she taught us so well as little children. So, like, even when I see her now, she laughs because I'm like, you're my Sunday school teacher. And she's like, Tamika, that was like 30 some odd years ago. But it is what it is. But yeah. And probably, like I said, some people from church, you know, just people that you know from in the community, things like that. People like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Dee?
My sisters. I would definitely say my sisters just kind of set the tone in all stages. And then I even think about, so I played basketball and I remember us being like freshmen and sophomores, and you just had a respect for those who were seniors and going off and even looking up to them. And even more importantly, I would say my friends, like, as you continue to grow, like, my friends are some really dope women doing some really great things and just very inspiring. And, you know, like you mentioned, you need people, you need that Peter, that James, that John, you need people who are going to hold you to it. And so they've been very influential in my life as well.
Absolutely. You took what I was going to say, because I was like, believe it or not, like, my line sisters and friends have really been staples in me, like, watching growth and development, because I didn't have a whole lot of friends growing up in high school. And I think I was talking to you, Mika, about being in the country and you have your cousins. Those are your friends, you know, but as far as like having a peer or somebody I went to school with or something like that, I really didn't have that. So when I went to college, and we talked about this on our anniversary Zoom or whatever, I was like, I got my best friends once I got to college. And then once I, you know, became adults and things like that, like, the people who are staples in my life are those people. And I've watched all of us kind of like grow and become and really blossom into these women. before I really found myself in a career, I was just kind of floating, doing my own thing or whatever. But I was looking at people who was like, Tamika was in law school. Jasmine was in PT school. D, you were working for like a real company. You had an office. I remember when you were working at International. I was like, D got a real job. Like a real job. She was like a grown-up job. And I was just like looking at my friends. It's so crazy. I was working at Victoria's Secret and I loved it. I was like, my friends got like jobs. Now, not knowing that the job that I had at that time, you know, co-manager, brand manager, whatever, that's a real job too. But I'm looking, I said, my friend like gonna be a real life lawyer. That's crazy. I got friends that's like doctors. You don't think about that stuff when you're in it. You're looking at it, but it was such a motivator. Like I decided to go back to school. I decided to do all these different things because I'm watching my friends. And they say comparison is a thief of joy. Yes, depending on what you're comparing. But I was looking and I was like, what you all taught me and showed me is that you can do hard things. Because you got people that say being a doctor is extremely hard. Oh, you can't. But I've watched people do it. It is hard, but it's doable, right? Mm-hmm. Or being a lawyer is so hard. Yeah, it's hard, but it's doable. There's a lot of things that are difficult. Like, believe it or not, McKee, organization might as well be rocket science for me because I literally need a step-by-step, like you wrote down for me for the closet. I need that for every single area. So that's a gift and a talent that I don't possess. And I realized afterwards, it's like, we need people in the world that can do that kind of stuff. So I look at it and I'm like, I'm always inspired by my peers and the women around me because it's like we have so many diverse and dynamic things that we have to offer. And it really blows my mind. So some of the people that I really have admired have been my peers. And this whole thing with the Tribe of Dope Black Women and doing IamMichelleRenee.com has opened up me being able to meet even more people. And so it's taken that cap off, you know. At one point, you felt like the only people you were going to meet were the people you met in college or the people you work with. But we're now transforming relationships and branching out and meeting even more people outside of our wheelhouse by not being afraid to say, I want to meet new people or I want to learn or do something different.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, D, don't you be my telepathy twin?
I love it. I mean, it's just so inspiring, especially when you have people who are alongside you and moving this thing forward. And like you mentioned, you think about folks that have been rocking with you 20 years. I mean, it seems almost unreal to say 20 years, but it's so real.
Yeah.
You get Tamika over there. She's like,
It is so real. As Blair says that we're slowly becoming the aunties. I was like, we've been the aunties. I know I was auntie before I was born.
Since 6 years old, child, I'm telling you.
6.
You said 6, McKee?
Mm-hmm.
6.
Hold
Me
on,
too.
though. We not aunties like Gertrude, okay?
Not at all.
No.
Honey, we the aunties that's confused with the nieces and the nephews. They think we
like what was the cool auntie on Fresh Prince's name?
Deidre.
What's her name? Deidre?
That was not her name.
Deidre.
That wasn't her. Why you got me confused, D? You had you had Vi. I can't remember her name. She was the young one. I don't know. Because it was
it the one that was married to the white guy?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name. I don't remember her name. But she was like the cool, spunky aunt, right?
You can just call her Deidre.
That's the kind of aunt we are.
Yeah.
We just gonna name her Deidre.
Like I always say, I'm like my Aunt Dorothy.
Yeah. She was your spunky aunt.
Yeah, she was the cool aunt. She the one who's gonna sneak stuff you ain't supposed to have, and she ain't gonna tell on you. But if she catch you out and she ain't know about it, you in trouble, and you don't want to be in trouble with her.
Right. Keela says she's definitely Jennifer Lewis's character.
See, that's who I was talking about. Yeah, that's who I thought you were talking about. Because remember when Uncle Phil and the new Aunt Vivian or whatever had broke up, and they had got back together, and she was up in that club talking about some gone kick the field, baby.
Yes. When I say I love it, I absolutely love it. I think that's amazing. Y'all, I have enjoyed this conversation so much. I was nervous because I know talking about moms sometimes can get emotional, but what I wanted to really communicate through our love for Black women, for Black moms, for Black influencers, for Black aunts, is that while none of them were perfect, all of them were amazing and perfect in their own way. And we have been so tremendously blessed to either have had a mom that we've been able to love on, to be able to share moms and things like that. D, I'm so blessed that I knew Maddie Mae and that I get to see her when I look at you, because she had a sense of humor. She was kind and sweet, and she loved them Line Sisters. Tamika, when I look at you and I see Miss Tina, I know that I'm going to always get the real, so I'm grateful for that. And McKee, knowing that I know you lets me know that I know Miss Virginia. So that's amazing. And then when we bump into each other in Jackson, she gonna say, I think I met your friend. That's beautiful. So shout out to all the moms in the world. We hope you enjoy your weekend, whatever it is that you're looking to get. We hope that you get it, even if it's just peace and quiet, which is at the top of the mom list for things we want in the midst of the pandemic as we're trying to come out of this thing. But I just want to tell y'all that I'm grateful for you all as Black women, because you pour into me every week, and you are a blessing to not just this tribe, but you're a blessing to so many others, because I constantly get people in my inbox sharing about the women on the panel and just being like, she was so funny, or man, she really dropped some nuggets, because y'all do that. So I appreciate you all so much. I hope that you all have an amazing night. I love you. And y'all, next week we're going to have a special guest. And we are having the JJ Talk. It's going to get real intimate and real personal next week. So if you want to know from a health professional perspective on taking care of yourself, we're going to have some of that going on, because we want to make sure that we're honoring ourselves, our mental and physical space this month. So we're going to have a special guest come on for the panel. I hope you'll join back in. Be sure to go and subscribe to Wake, Pray, Create on IG and on Facebook, because McKee is dropping nuggets for organization every single week. She got amazing stuff going on. You can go back and watch her videos and really get into that. Make sure you check out Tamika, because she has some funny deets going on. We've been talking about how she attracts these very interesting characters. I wish she would just write like a blog or share these interactions, like how they do the Humans of New York, Mika. You totally need one of those things. It's where they tell these stories, right?
Like
Dee said she's going to be backstage. You said what, Mika?
Like Taxi Cab Confessions?
Yes, like that. So you're not telling the people's names, but you're giving these very detailed stories. That would be amazing. Y'all, make sure you check out Deidre as well. Deidre, give them your website name so they can check you out for the financial planning and information that you offer, because you've been dropping nuggets for the last couple of weeks with different people, and people need to know, get your money right so you can be right.
So it's first name, last name, .nm.com, DEIDRAWILLIS .n as in Nancy, M as in Mike.com. And you can just click on contact me or reach out to me, and we can make some connections happen. Wealth happen as well.
Did you say Deidre Willis or just Deidre Willis?
Deidre Willis. And I'm
there we
confirming as well.
There we go. DeidreWillis.nm.com. Y'all check her out. Make sure that you get your information. Show up and show out for her, because I don't want y'all to be jealous when I be a millionaire and I'm trying to tell y'all how it happened.
When you work on your second million, because
we already got that first. When I work on my other millions, because this first one we good on that. But I don't want y'all to be jealous when I'm trying to put y'all on. She's the one. She's the girl y'all need to get at. But anyway, thank y'all for joining in. We love you. We hope y'all have a phenomenal night. Go do something special for somebody. But most importantly, no matter what you do, by all means, protect your peace and protect your energy. Y'all be good. Ladies, hang back for just 1 second. Good night.